I became an atheist while serving as a missionary in Ukraine. It is crucial to constantly rethink our worldviews to ensure that they are founded in logic and reasoning. Otherwise, we run the risk of being taken advantage of or possibly harming other people. It is crucial to analyze your religious moral frameworks, the validity of your religious text, and your religion's support of free thinking before committing to a belief system or ideology. In this speech, I will be covering Christianity's flaws when it comes to moral frameworks, the validity of the Bible, and Christianity's discouragement of free thought. I went to Ukraine as a Christian, a non-denominational Christian, and through my seeking and through research while I was serving there in the Ukraine, I came to realize there were a few flaws and a few problems that I had with the religion that I had committed my life to. The first problem was its moral framework. I had always been taught that Christianity had the highest sense of morality and had the best moral framework. But upon truly reading scripture and reading the Bible, I came across Exodus 21, which supported slavery, which I personally had a huge moral problem with. As I kept searching and I kept searching, I didn't see any condemnation of slavery as a practice from any religious texts or anything surrounding Christianity. The second thing I did find a little bit of a problem with is the way they talked about murder in the Old Testament. Now, as practices go along and change throughout time, the fact that God commanded murder in such a way in Scripture didn't sit well with me. So those two moral problems went against my personal beliefs, which then caused me to rethink the religion I had committed my life to. The second point that I'd like to point out is the validity of the religious text I was relying so heavily on. And in this circumstance, I'm referring to the Bible. So it's New Testament and Old Testament. The first thing that I found a problem with was that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which are the four Gospels of the New Testament, are actually anonymous books, which means they are written by anonymous writers. So we don't know who actually wrote those books. Upon more research, I came to realize that these books were given their names, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, because they were assumed to be written by those apostles. But there actually is no solid evidence that those were the actual authors of the Gospels. Another thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way is that the Bible has been edited throughout history. Not necessarily text being moved around, but full chapters and full pieces of scripture taken out as to increase the amount of followers of Christianity. So those two things kind of pushed me to rethink the validity of the text we were holding so highly. Another thing that kind of was an interesting element of the sociological side of Christianity was the discriminant, the discouragement of free thinking. Now, this is supported in the text of Christianity through scriptures that call for individuals to lean not on their own understanding, which ideologically sounds a bit totalitarian and doesn't support individuals' free expression of thought and the openness to discuss and challenge each other's ideas. Another element of Christianity that I began to realize were some problems with was the reliance on the idea of faith in God and the support of not believing in yourself and what your mind and what your logic is telling you, and instead putting that aside and believing in an unseen, untestable figure. In conclusion, to kind of summarize all of my points, I personally do not believe it's wise to support a religion that is morally unjustifiable, vague when questioned about their religious text, and totalitarian in nature. Uh, I I didn't become an atheist because I hated God or I had something evil I wanted to do and I couldn't justify it with a moral figure above me. I became an atheist because I realized I was following men disguised as God, and this is never good when it comes to living a happy and productive life. Thank you so much.